The number 1 overall pick. A prestigious title to hold in any sport, but in the AFL, I feel like there's less hype and production from number 1 picks than other sports leagues such as the NBA. Nevertheless, a lot is expected from the number 1 pick in any draft. Sometimes they live up to the hype and become the face of a successful franchise, and in other cases are just not built for the league and underwhelm the majority of fans. It's a really interesting concept to me. So in today's video, I'll be going through the last 10 first overall picks in the AFL and talk about their careers so far, and if they've lived up to the title they hold for the rest of their lives. Before we get into the video, only about 5% of you guys are actually subscribed, so I'd appreciate it if you press the red button down below today. I'm thinking of doing a Guernsey giveaway at 1,000 subs, so if you'd like to enter, just subscribe. That's literally it. Anyway, without further ado, let's get into it. In 2012, Lachie Whitfield was selected first overall by the newly formed GWS Giants. As the Giants grew into a respectable side within the league, Whitfield grew into an above-average midfielder/forward within the comp. Over his whole career, he has averaged 23 disposals, 6 marks and 2 clearances a game. Pretty respectable numbers, and he's averaging around that in the 2022 season, but on a below-average Giants team, and with lacking impact compared to years prior. He also came under fire in the 2016 season for taking illicit drugs and evading drug tests under the influence of GWS administrators. Lachie peaked in 2018 when he was an All-Australian and won the Kevin Sheedy medal as well. He was also part of the team that made it to the 2019 Grand Final, and yeah, we don't talk about what happened to the Giants in that game. Anyways, in 2022, Whitfield is past his prime most likely. He's 28 and isn't getting any younger, but can still contribute for years to come. Tom Boyd was drafted by the GWS Giants in 2013, marking their second first overall pick in a row. Boyd played his rookie season with the Giants before being traded to the Western Bulldogs for Ryan Griffin in return. He signed to the Doggies on a 7-year, $7 million contract, one that he did not service in completion, and one that the Dogs didn't get value back for. It's one of the most overpaid contracts in recent memory. Being a part of the fairy tale 2016 team that beat Sydney in the Grand Final, and kicking an iconic goal in the third quarter, which debatably sealed the win for the Dogs, was probably his career highlight. Over his career, Boyd averaged 10 disposals, 10 hitouts, 3 marks and 0.8 goals per game. Safe to say his career didn't live up to all that it was meant to be when Tom retired in 2019, citing mental health and injuries as the reason. One of the more disappointing prospects on this list, his career just never panned out in a straightforward and successful manner. Taken by the Saints in 2014, Paddy McCartan has one of the more underrated comeback stories within the AFL. He first played 4 years with the Saints and dealt with numerous injuries and concussions, the issue becoming so problematic that he was delisted back in 2018. Fast forward to 2022, and McCartan is averaging 13 disposals, 4.6 spoils and 3.7 intercept marks a game as a key member of the Sydney Swans backline. He originally signed to the Sydney Swans VFL team and worked his way into the AFL side with his younger brother Tom. He's really developed into a great defender who is elite in pack marking situations and intercepts, and if you told me he'd been a part of the Swans backline for years, I'd believe you in a heartbeat. Jacob Wiedering was a player who I never gave the time of day since his draft in 2015, as the Blues were seen as a struggling team and it always seemed like Wiedering was uncomfortable and sometimes lacked awareness in crucial situations. But fast forward a couple of years, and he's evolved into one of the best one-on-one defenders in the game with his patented spoil. He's playing on an All-Australian level and earned a club best and fairest back in 2020. This year he has averaged 12 disposals, 6.8 spoils and 1.8 intercept marks a game, even with injury struggles at times. As Carlton developed, Wiedering developed, and it took a change in team culture and success for him to really shine through, the Blues moving from bottom dwellers at the start of his career to finals contenders in the present. The Essendon Bombers took Andy McGrath with the first pick in the 2016 draft. Thrown straight into a finals-bound team in his rookie year, McGrath developed fast, and has been as consistent as one can be, a player you can count on no matter what. Over his career so far, he's averaged 22 disposals, 4.8 marks and 2.6 clearances per. He's always been a decent midfielder for the Bombers, being named the vice-captain of the side at a young age, and recently extended his contract until the 2024 season. Sometimes McGrath gets overlooked due to the likes of Darcy Parish, Zach Merritt and Dylan Shield playing his exact position, but Andy is definitely a solid contributor and a fan favourite at the club. The first and only true small forward on the list, Cam Rayner was picked up by the Brisbane Lions in 2017. I'll be the first to admit that I thought Rayner was very overrated when he first entered the league, and I don't know if that's just on him or due to the Lions struggling in the 2018 season, claiming the wooden spoon in the process. Cam has definitely witnessed the rise of the Lions into constant finals appearances, and team success is looking to help him develop further as a player. It's hard to shine as a small forward on a team with Charlie Cameron, but Rayner's a solid role player with a high upside and potential. This year he's averaging 15 disposals, 3.4 marks and 1.1 goals a game, showing increases in nearly all statistical categories. From this point forward, it becomes hard to predict the rest of these players' careers just because they're so young, but of course, I'll try my best. Sam Walsh is probably the best player on this list currently, him being taken by the Blues in 2018. He's in Brownlow contention this year and is averaging a whopping 32 disposals, 4.8 marks and 3.9 clearances a game. He has led Carlton with captain Patrick Cripps to a turnaround year, then pushing heavily for a finals berth for the first time in a while. Along with the Rising Star Award, Walsh has also won a Blues Best and Fairest and an All-Australian nod last year. And along with his elite numbers, he also has an elite impact within the game of footy. In essence, he passes the eye test with flying colours. Walsh is just a fun and exciting player to watch, and has the potential to accomplish so much more within his career. One of the more hyped prospects on this list, Matt Rowe was drafted by the Gold Coast Suns in 2019. I don't know if it's just me, but I remember big hype surrounding him when he first came into the league, and he hasn't truly lived up to his potential just yet. Rowe's an elite player around pressure, showcasing elite numbers in averaging 7 tackles and 6 clearances a game, along with 19 disposals this year. His only real weakness so far in his short career is health and availability. Injuries proving worrisome for the club. He's got plenty of time to develop, and I have full hope that he can be a deadly counterpart to Touk Miller within the Suns midfield. The Adelaide Crows had the first pick in the 2020 draft and decided to take Jamara Ugle-Hagan, but due to him playing in the Bulldogs Academy side, they got first pick, no pun intended. Jamara struggled at times with the pace of the AFL so far in his first 2 seasons, averaging 7 disposals, 3 marks and 1 goal a game in his short career. He sticks out on the field at times and has great athleticism and speed, but against better competition, the effect of these attributes are lessened. I'm not too high on Jamara and his ability personally, and I'm being a bit harsh, but it's only his second year, and of course he can definitely turn around on a successful team in the Doggies. I'll admit that key forwards normally take longer to develop and fulfill their full potential in comparison to midfielders. Jason Horne-Francis is the latest of the lot, suiting up for his rookie year with the Roos in 2022. He's been unhappy this year, as anyone would be playing with North, but it does mean he gets a lot of the ball, a lot of play, and should be taking those opportunities to the fullest extent. He's averaging 6.6 disposals, 3.8 clearances and 3.3 tackles a game as a major part of North's midfield. Horne's been relatively good and was dropped to the VFL recently, surprisingly, but worked his way back into the team. This was also in amongst talks of him wanting out of the club, but he's got a big upside and I hope he can pan out as a solid player, and then possibly request a trade back to Adelaide? To the Crows specifically? No? Okay, was worth a try. Well, that just about wraps up the last 10 AFL first overall draft picks and where they are now. Hope you guys enjoyed this video and let me know where you think these players will end up in terms of performance, stats and teams by the ends of their career. Hope you guys enjoyed this video. Remember to leave a like and subscribe for future Sportsfield content. Have a good one and cheers.